There are 20 total weapon perks in World 0, but which build should you use for your 0 weapons? For most of the classes, the best build is Attack Up, Burn Chance, Elite Assassin for mobs, and Attack Up, Crit Stack, Boss Bane for bosses. And for tanky classes like the Warlord, Paladin, Demon, or Dragoon, Ferocious is the best. These builds are considered the optimal, strongest builds for dungeons because Attack Up is the best normal weapon perk, and Crit Stack and Burn Chance being the second best options. Burn Chance is the second best option to use for fighting mobs, and Crit Stack is the best for fighting bosses because bosses have a 90% resistance to status effects. As for why Elite Assassin over Mob Slayer only works on normal mobs, and Elite Assassin only works on elites. And since elites have more health than mobs, Elite Assassin is the better options. If you're curious about the difference between Burn Chance and Crit Stack, for Volcano Dungeon Nightmare Challenge mode using the Storm Caller, I finished in 216 with Burn Chance and Elite Assassin, and 231 with Crit Stack Elite Assassin. So Burn Chance is definitely the stronger weapon perk to use for mob clearing. Ferocious and Vampiric are the legendary perks both introduced in World 10. Do not ask about Opening Strike, there is no Opening Strike perk in World 0. Vampiric is personally my favorite weapon perk because it's very good at everything. Vampiric inflicts the Cursed status effect, which heals you for 6% of your health and deals 5% of enemies' HP per second. The healing from Vampiric also makes you very tanky, and the status effect is one of the highest scaling in the game. This is the absolute best perk to use for Infinite Tower and limited event bosses, and it's decent for dungeons. For the dungeon testing on the Storm Caller, comparing the optimal perk swapping build to the Vampiric build in 3-2 on Nightmare Challenge mode, the Vampiric build finished in 125 and the perk swapping build in 127. For 7-2, I finished in 207 with the Vamp build and 154 with the perk swapping build, and in 9-2 with the Vamp build I finished in 255, and with the perk swapping build I finished in 246. So from my testing, the perk swapping build is a bit faster, but the Vampiric build, you are constantly at full HP and it is way easier to play. You also don't have to make multiple 0 weapons to perk swap, and it is really good for Infinite Tower and event bosses. So if you only want to make one 0 weapon, I highly recommend a Vampiric build. As for Ferocious, this perk increases your damage for 3 seconds whenever you take damage by the perk percent. Self-damaging abilities like Dark Binding from the Demon and Supercharge from the Stormcaller do not activate Ferocious. Only enemy attacks do. Because of this, I don't think the perk is good on the majority of the classes in the game. This perk is only good if you're playing a really tanky class like the Paladin, Warlord, Dragoon, or Demon. On the Warlord, you can constantly block attacks for Ferocious uptime and take minimal damage. For any other class, running the perk swapping build or running Vampiric is better. As for the testing, for 3-1 on the Stormcaller, the Vamp build finished in 224, the optimal build finished in 221, and the Ferocious build in 226. But for 7-2 on the Warlord, the Vamp build finished in 223 and the Ferocious build in 212. So is Ferocious worth using on ranged classes?
Hell no!
But on tanky melee classes, it is justified. Lastly, perfect perks are insanely expensive. Perfect Attack Up goes for around 10 million, but semi-perfect, which is 1% less, can go for around 2 to 3 million gold. So if you can't afford perfect perks, I highly recommend you building a semi-perfect S-rank weapon. The difference between perfect and semi-perfect is hardly noticeable on majority of the classes. For example, on the Stormcaller, with perfect gear, my autos hit for 24,628, and with semi, it's 24,237. But it does add up over the course of a dungeon. For 10-2 on challenge mode, the perfect build finished in 236 and the semi build in 238. There is difference, but it is very minimal, so it's up to you if the price of perfect 0 gear is worth it or not. As for which weapon build is the best, for most classes, it's going to be perk swapping between Attack Up, Burn Chance, Elite Assassin, and Attack Up, Crit Stack, Boss Bane. But for those tanky classes, you can use Ferocious instead of the other 2 perks, or you could just make one Vampiric weapon and not worry about perk swapping at all. Lastly, I am giving away an anti-slay mount in my Discord, and also please join my guild for season 16. See ya!